Line unmuted.
Okay, perfect. So I just want to confirm that everybody can hear me and can see the beginning of the slideshow here on their screen. Okay, great. So let's get started. My name is Sarah from Jonas, and we'll be running through a quick webinar on prepaid services today. It is a shorter presentation, so there will be plenty of time for questions at the end. And it is a smaller group today, so I won't mute everybody. So just be aware of any background noise coming from you. If you want to mute your own phone, that is totally acceptable. But if you do have a question as I'm running through, feel free to stop me as long as it relates to the slide that we are on. And I can answer questions as we go. I won't force you to use the chat because we are a bit of a smaller group today. So starting with prepaid services, just housekeeping things before we begin. I will, like I said, I won't be muting the phones today because there are only a few of us here. But you can use the chat box for questions if you don't feel comfortable speaking to everybody all at once. All questions will be answered, like I said, when appropriate, or at the end of the session, depending on how many there are. A copy of this session will also be available online in PDF form. So this will be the last webinar for the day. So as soon as this is completed, I will send it off to our marketing team who will post it on the website in PDF. And we will also post this video for you as well once they can get it all cleaned up. So what to expect from webinars, if this is your first webinar, they are not to be used in place of regular training. They are just to enhance your knowledge of Jonas. We do assume that you have a basic knowledge before coming into it. And it should be about 50 minutes of information with 10 minutes for questions and answers. Like I said, this slideshow does not have that many slides. We usually do finish a little bit quickly, so if you do have questions, this is a good time to do them because we have a bigger amount of time to answer them. So prepaid services, this is what we'll be going through today. We have our initial setup of the module, which includes your system profile, which is under the club management module, as well as your point of sale categories and items, and updating your menus to enable you to actually use prepaid services. Then we have the actual use of the module, so issuing prepaid services, redeeming your services, and also running any inquiries or reports. And at the end of the season, cleaning up, purging, and expiring prepaid services so that your members can't keep them forever. So starting with our initial setup, we would start with the system profile. So this is where you set up the different types of prepaid services that can be created and where they can be used. So a common example would be lessons, swim passes, court fees or court bookings. So these things can be used in different areas of the club, and you can actually restrict them to those areas. The sales category, so every different type of prepaid service will have two categories associated with it, one for issue and one for redeem. And the difference between these two categories is the general ledger account. Upon issue, your general ledger account that's typically used as a revenue account will actually point to your prepaid services liability account. Upon redemption, the category will point to your actual revenue account. So you'll have a couple of different general ledgers you'll need set up, which is your liability, which is where it's holding until it's being used. When it's used, it will actually come out of your liability and post to club revenue, which would be lessons revenue, court fee revenue, pool revenue. Within these categories, each item will have, every different type of service will have a POS item. So if you sell things in, say, single packs, 6-packs, and 12-packs, you'll have an item for each of those different things, as well as an item to redeem. So you'll need one redeem item and as many sales items as you sell your package in. Once you have these things set up, you'll have to go to your point of sale menus and actually include them on the menu. So this is diving deeper into our system profile. This would be your very first step. So within Jonas, you can have multiple different types of prepaid services under one club, and you can see that they're defined by book A, B, C, D, etc. Each one has its own description, and you can restrict it to areas, sales areas. So if you have one for, in this example, massage therapy, you would probably restrict that to your spa. You could give them numbers. So if you actually have physical packages, cards, booklets that you give your members, you can assign them starting numbers. So that means that you can always track who belongs to what. If you track it within Jonas, it does still need a number, but it's not as important to put in a starting number there because you don't have physical numbers that you're checking. You can also restrict services to be allowed to redeem by dependents. So if you have family members where member A or the main member has a prepaid service package, are their children or is their spouse able to use it as well? And then you also have your POS description, which is exactly what it sounds like, the description to be used at point of sale. So after you have that system profile set up, and that is actually all you need to start using prepaid services is that profile, what you'll do is hop over to the point of sale module, and that's under POS Sales Category. So like we said before, each different prepaid service needs to have an issue and a redemption category. So you can see that right here where it says prepaid lessons and redeem prepaid lessons. You need two different categories for your lessons prepaid services. The issue, like I said before, will house the liability account, and the redemption or the redeem category will house the revenue account. Within those categories, you do need POS items. So these POS items will be set up, and this is actually what gets sold at the point of sale to issue the service to the member. So it's set up just like a regular sales item, needs an item code, needs a description, and it needs a chip description. So the description is what you see on your report. The chip description is what your members see on their receipt. The button description is what your servers see on the menu. Sales category, of course, you want to make sure that it's assigned to your redeem prepaid services or issue prepaid services sales category that you set up before. And then if you look to the right of the screen here, there's a couple of options. You must check off these items to either be set as issue a service or redeem a service. So this one is an issue. So when this item is sold, it issues the service onto the member's account. When it's redeemed, it starts pulling from that service. Once you check off that box, there is, if you look to the menu further to the right, there is a little button called Prepaid Service. It's right in the middle, and that is where you define the amounts. So that will open up only if one of those boxes are checked. And there isn't actually a screenshot of it, so I'm going to pop over to one of our items here so that I can show you in more detail. So again, that's just under System Setup Sales Items. We will pick one of our items. So you can see here we have our two check boxes, and the prepaid service is actually not available to us right now. That only opens up as you check off issue a service or redeem a service. And I actually just got a new test company, so that will be opened up if you have a prepaid service profile set up. So your prepaid service profile is under Club Management, Prepaid Services, System Profile. Select your club, give your prepaid services a description. I'm going to say no restriction on my sales areas, and my starting number will be 1. And that's all you need to set up for book. Not too much in terms of club management setup here, so we'll say okay. Going down into your sales categories, just have to choose a category for prepaid issue and prepaid redeem. And those general ledger accounts need to be set up, one for the liability and one for the redemption. After that, we come back into sales items, choose our item, and then you can either issue a service or redeem a service based on what it is. So once you have the item set up, you do have to update your POS menus. So you want to make sure those options are actually on your menu that your server can use. So again, it's just using that quick setup menu design screen, selecting the item, and placing it on the menu. This is what it looks like when you go to issue prepaid services at the POS. So if you have multiple different kinds of prepaid services set up, you do need to select which one is which. So when you're going to issue them, you'll select which prepaid service you'd like to issue. And when you go to redeem them, you'll have to select which kind you'd like to redeem. So of course you won't be able to redeem massages for golf lessons or pool fees for massages. you have to make sure that they match. So when you're going to issue, you choose which one, and then you settle it either member charge, cash, credit card to the member's account. When you go to redeem, you select your redemption option, click on Redeem Prepaid Services, and then select which book you'd like to redeem from. So you can see in this example, this person has 5 left on their account, 5 massages left. Moving into inquiries and reports, you can take a look at your outstanding prepaid services through the Club Management menu, which is Club Management Prepaid Services. You have the option to do an inquiry, which is more interactive than a report. It gives you just a basic breakdown, and you're able to actually click on the lines from the inquiry to see the details, so you can see transactional information by digging a little bit deeper. You can look at the status report, which just gives you by member what they have outstanding and what they've redeemed, or the transactions report, which gives you all the details from your prepaid services, from redemption to voids to issuing to return, anything that's happened within a prepaid service. The end of day report, so when you actually go through to do your end of day update and the point of sale, shows you prepaid service information as well. So it gives you a page after all of the shifts are detailed. It gives you your voids, edits, and discounts. It gives you your prepaid services breakdown. It gives you your gift certificates breakdown. It gives you any settlement amount breakdown, and then it gives you your GL breakdown. So that's where you can see all that information, as well as your general ledger activity, so coming out of your liabilities and coming into your revenue. Moving into cleanup and maintenance. So prepaid services that are expired, and you can set an expiry date for prepaid services upon issue, can be closed using this tool, which is under the Prepaid Services menu, Close, Expired, or Prepaid Service tool. This is what the screen looks like here, and I'm just going to flip back to my Jonas. And it's just right here under Club Management, Prepaid Services, and Close Expired Prepaid Service. So you can choose your club, and then an as of date, so maybe you want to do it monthly, you would pick the last day of every month. You can close the fully redeemed one, so what that means is you just won't see it on members' accounts anymore, popping up with a 0. And then if there's anything not redeemed, so if it's not a 0 balance, where do you want that to go? What revenue account? So you could say unused. It's very similar to the way minimums are billed. So any unused minimums get billed to a certain account. You can do this with prepaid services as well. The debit postings you can select by service category. So this will actually, if there is any debit amount, it will just go by the category GL setup, or you can put your own GL. So if it's a debit amount, you can select. If it's a credit amount, you can select, or you can copy the service setup. And then again, it's just preview and update. So once this is run and they are closed, you cannot reactivate them for a member. You do have to go in and just reissue. After that, you can actually purge prepaid service information, and this just kind of keeps it clean in your system so you don't have a million expired prepaid services on a member's account throughout the years, and that just deletes that data completely. You also have the option to edit expiry dates on prepaid services. So what this will do is if you've issued a bunch of prepaid services, maybe with an expiry date that's too far in the future or too soon, you can go in and edit them all at one time by selecting your club. You can choose select prepaid services, select expiry dates, selected members, or you can change all to a certain expiry date. Once you put in your parameters, you just have to hit proceed, and it will open up with a grid of all prepaid services that are currently issued from the club. And you can go through and edit expiry dates from there. It's just clicking on the line and picking a new date. This includes ones that don't have an expiry date, which I know is a big problem for some clubs, having prepaid services out there that just never expire. So what that'll do is it allows you to actually give them an expiry date. You can also issue prepaid services not through the point of sale. So if somebody back office is issuing them, you are not required to open up a POS chit and start a new shift. If you're more comfortable with the club management side of things, you can issue them based on this screen here. So you have your club, you choose your partition, your area, and your book, as well as the date, the selling date. Choose your prepaid service, and then your member, or you can issue it to all member statuses. So say you have a member status that is a gold member, and as part of their gold membership, they get 6 pool passes a year. You could issue everybody who's a gold member 6 pool passes all in one go, back office right here. You choose your issue quantity, and then your auto settlement code. So what that means is, how are they paying for this? Is it member charge, is it cash, or is it club charge? Once you have your parameters in, you just have to hit OK, and it will issue those prepaid services to your members. I told you it was a short presentation. So I am open for questions now if you have any questions regarding prepaid services.
Can you sell a prepaid service to a guest as opposed to a member?
You
explain why. We're actually a public course using Jonas.
Mm-hmm.
So our membership, we only have a handful. So we keep that separate so it doesn't get messy, so that when we, you know, the few members that we do have, it's easy to pull it up. To track staff golf, we have set them up in as a guest.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering, or even just our regular players who are not members, but they're here on a regular basis, who buy our prepaid tickets. I'm not currently using Jonas to do it, but it's something I've wanted to do since I started here.
Mm-hmm.
We have little printed, they're like the size of a business card. They're individually numbered,
Okay.
and we sell them either a 10-pack or a 20-pack. So what I'd like to do is start setting those up in Jonas, but they're not members per se. They're just a regular guest. Do I have to use member?
What I would do in that case is set up a member account, like a 9999 non-member, and that way it gives you a member account to tie it to, but you would use the actual numbers to track it when you're searching the numbers of the actual booklet.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So it's
so you would create like a dummy member account to tie them all to, and it would just, that dummy member account would be called non-member.
And then use it as well, for instance, with a gift certificate where we enter in the number, because we were on paper certificates as well, which were pre-printed, so we enter the number as we go. So I assume I just do the same thing with the prepaid tickets?
Yes.
So I just have to do it.
Exactly.
10-pack, I have to enter those 10 numbers, and so on, right?
Yes. Yeah. So it's an individual number per sheet in the pack?
Per ticket,
or
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually you could do that. It might be a little bit some extra clicks, but definitely just use each number in the pack.
Okay.
So that makes it really important in your system profile to make sure you have the correct starting number and you're issuing them in order.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. You just need a member number for it to latch on to.
Besides that, because I haven't used this part of the program yet, but I wanted to peek at it while you were doing your seminar today, just to see how it works.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep. It's fairly simple once you get this set up. It's just when you run into general, like the big problems I find with it are the general ledger accounts aren't set up properly, like the redeem and the issue, or they never expire and you have this huge number sitting outstanding that should have been expired 10 years ago. So those are just two things you want to keep.
Expire. There really are a prepaid service. It's not like something, and you know, with gift cards and everything now, it's become such a nightmare that they're basically saying legally it should never expire.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And can Jonas print a ticket as opposed to us giving these, or can you print a summary of what that customer's getting?
Yes, so it would print on the receipt, and you can actually set up your chip design or your receipt design to show at the very bottom how much they have left in prepaid services.
The same as a gift certificate?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know enough about this yet to be asking these questions. I don't think, like, I need to get more into the guts of it, so I apologize.
No problem. That's why we're here, and that's why you have support as well. And there are tons of articles on the website about prepaid services as well.
How do I figure out which version I'm on?
If you look in the very bottom of your screen, I'm not sure if you can see my screen here, but where my mouse is,
yep,
it just says version right here. So I'm on 12.7.
Okay. Let me take a look. Has there been an update this year?
Yes, 12.7 is the 2017 release.
Okay, I'm on 12.6. So how do I get to 12.7? You said go to jonasport.com?
Yep, jonasport.com, and then it's under Product Updates. It'll be the 12.7 General Release Version Upgrade. And if you don't see it there, just go ahead and call support and they can release it to you. I know they were kind of doing it in waves, so it could be that your club just didn't get included in the latest wave, but they can release it to you right away.
Okay.
And then it's just you have to download it, and it needs to be run with everybody out of Jonas, and we recommend you do it on the server as the administrator.
Yeah, our club support, they do it for us.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Even better.
I would have to just contact them, tell them that it's available, and to tell them go and get it. The other thing, I'm sorry, this doesn't relate to prepaid services, but you said something about going, basically my Jonas Club Help doesn't work.
Okay, so like when you hit F9 or the help doc?
Yeah, it takes me to a white screen and just flickers at me. It doesn't open.
Oh, okay. I know there is a new version of help with every version upgrade, and one common problem is that you upgrade your version, but you don't upgrade your help, so that's maybe they're not compatible anymore. So on that same product update screen of jonasport.com, there's a 12.7 help installer.
Okay.
You'll just have to run that again.
Okay, perfect.
Are there any other questions for me today? The chat? Nope.
If I needed assistance with the prepaid service, is there someone I can contact to do that besides just the regular help, or just go that route?
I would go regular support just because that's kind of what they're there for, but if you need really specific help, they will sometimes route it to professional services or one of our trainers.
Okay.
It just depends on what your question is, right?
Okay.
And this webinar is happening again, I think, in about a month. You could always sign up again and see if anything's changed in that time.
Yeah, I'm going to try to play with it and see. I'm not too concerned about the GL because we're running it now already. We're just not running it as a prepaid service. We sell the pack as a POS item, and then we've got it properly redeeming. So that part is already set up. I just have to relate it now to, I have to call it something in this prepaid service. So I'm not too worried about that part, but yeah, I'll go from there.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, thanks, Sarah.
All right, no problem. You guys have a great day.
Take care.
Bye.